What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Kelly here. We're back in Kellyland for another wonderfully exciting. If you watched the last one, you know what we're doing. Just gonna pull a leveling kit out of the front of this thing and then pull the rear blocks, chop them down, and go for a reverse level. Get this thing a little more sporty. She sits pretty tall right now. It doesn't look bad, but it could look better. Stay tuned.
Hi there, how are you? Hello, welcome back.
So we're here underneath the back of the white truck. I think I'm going to start here, pulling these rear blocks out so I can see what it's going to take to either get them shortened or find some shorter ones. But going by the looks of these U-bolts, I'm not even going to try taking the nuts off. I'm just going to cut them. I really need to buy something better to cut stuff with than the grinder. Never fits, never fits. If any of you guys have ever cut a U-bolt before, they're torqued down pretty tight, so they tend to snap and pop. All right. all I'm doing, guys, with that pry bar, I'm just cutting them like 90% of the way, and then bending them with the pry bar until they break, just so I don't have to be under the truck and startle the hell out of myself when they break and everything kind of jumps around a little bit. It's scary. It scares me. Get this piece, whatever this is, out of the way. For safety. There's always time for safety, folks. The back portion of the frame on this thing is so high, my jack won't hardly get it. So the truck could be better supported, for sure. The weight of the truck is still sitting on the springs and the axle, so it shouldn't go anywhere. I've got the wheels chalked, but err on the side of caution and try not to smash my old noggin. Sweet. Alright, so here's the little doodads. Holding my glove. Little doodads here that go under the axle to clamp everything together. They're still nice and solid, it looks like, but I don't know if you can see. See how corroded that U-bolt is? I'd say they need to replace it anyway. I'm going to try and beat out of here real fast if they'll come out. Hopefully they don't. There's that one. Some of these I hope they don't have to freaking like press them out or something. Well, that's not what I was expecting. Freaking dang old hammer, bro. This was a good hammer too. Out of my biscuit. That was my good smacker. Well, this ain't gonna go any better without the right freaking hammer. I know that. If you haven't noticed by now, I need a new workbench. That's on the list of stuff to do this winter. Build a nice metal workbench. Now that we got the welder going. Look at all that freaking Road Crispy treats. These still look pretty solid. They just need cleaned up. They got a bunch of dirt built up down in there, but get this other one done and then we'll pull them blocks out from underneath the truck. Man, if that schmoo could talk. It's probably been building up on this truck since it was rolled out of the factory in '95. Let's see if we can get these blocks out without getting smashed. We might have to do some hammering on them too. They're looking pretty stuck. There we go. Well, that throws a little hiccup into the mix. I was hoping this block just had a nub on each end to center it, but it looks like the centering pin for the leaf springs actually runs down through the middle of this block somehow. Could be wrong. We'll find out. Oh, I might be wrong. Hold on. Sometimes it's nice to be wrong. Let's see. Let's get this thing out. Woohoo! This thing is just loaded. Loaded with schmoo. There it is right there. Say the bottom. Yeah. Just got that little nub on the leaf spring. Sits in this little nub here. And this guy's got this little wiener protruding. Bump stop. I need to take about 3 inches off of this thing, and that's going to put us like right in here. So I don't know if we'll end up getting to keep the bump stop perch or not, but it ain't going to be that much further. You know, with what would be left, it won't be that much further down to the axle shaft. So I was hoping I could just cut these down, but I don't know how I'm going to make up for that nub being there. Maybe I could just find I'll find something. We'll make something work. Alright, let's see if we can get the other one off of there. Sneak preview. There's with the jack all the way down. I'm sure the other side might be holding it up a little bit, but no, it's not even quite touching the spring there. Shoo! Yes, yes, we are going to lower the front so that it doesn't stay like this. But that looks a lot better. Hopefully the 35s will still fit on the front with it this low, but we shall see. Maybe I'll just leave that block out of there. Freaking slam it. Slam her down low. We'd have to do something with the front, but who knows? The possibilities are limitless. Well, I just died. Shoo! That was scary. Don't worry, folks, I'm uninjured. Just luckily I didn't have my head far enough in there to, or my arm or anything. But boy, was it scary. All right, let's go for round two. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there she is. That was sketchy as hell, but both blocks are out right now, using them as a wheel chock currently. There's the back, there's the front. The front still has 2-inch leveling puck in it. We're at about 9.5 inches from tire to fender back there. We were at 10.5 in the back, and we are now 6.5, 6.25. So if I want to leave it there, which would be easier to do, this is going to have to come down 3 inches. So I'll get 2 inches pulling this puck out of here, but 3 inches is going to be pushing it. I'd say we'd probably have to cut a coil. I don't know how bad I want to do that, but we'll see what's up. Run to the parts store, get some U-bolts, some new U-bolts ordered, and see what Frank up at Napa can do for some blocks. If he can get me like, I forget what I would need, like 1.5 inch, 2 inch tall block that'll fit in there without having to fab up some new centering pin. I'll probably go that route, just to make things a little easier, not having to cut a coil on the front. But we'll run to the parts store. I got some other stuff to do the rest of the day, and then we'll get back on this either tonight or tomorrow or sometime. So hang in there. What is going on, idiots? Little update here. Not gonna lie, it's been a few days. Got busy for a while and got sick, but here she is. Ended up being a lot more trial and error on this deal than what I expected. So I kind of dropped the ball on trying to get some footage, but it would have been tough, or it would have been a really long video. So here she sits, no blocks in the rear. We got new U-bolts. I just did a final torque on them after a little test drive. In the front, I pulled the leveling kit and then chopped a coil and a half off, and that was way too low. It was riding on the bump stops. So I got a junk set of springs from Blake. They were from that parts truck he bought for the Envoy. It's extended cab long bed, so these springs are stiffer. I ended up having to cut, what did I do? Maybe one full coil. One full coil or 3/4 of a coil, I can't remember now. But here she sits. Let me grab a tape measure. Oops, sorry folks. Hopefully nobody got dizzy. It's 6.5 inches on the front. And there is some junk in the bed right now. Right at 6 inches on the rear. The other side measured kind of funky until I put the sway bar back on, and now the front matches up and the rear matches up. But there for a while, all 4 corners were set in a different height. We got plenty of clearance on everything on the front. We got about 2 inches or so of travel till we hit the bump stop. But so far, driving it around, I haven't felt it bottom out yet. Ended up throwing new shocks on it and had to get new sway bar links. We'll do a full reveal out in the sunlight, but I've kind of decided to add to the project. I picked up, it's kind of dark back here, picked up a cheap roll pan and this exciting pile of junk over here. Got a 4" 90 reducer or whatever and a piece of 5" pipe. We're gonna fabricate up a little stacky boy. Also, before we get started on the stack, going to start draining the oil out of the rear diff so I can weld that guy up. Give it the old zip 9000. What I'm thinking is, I like this toolbox, and I don't really like how stacks look when there's just one of them and they're by themselves. So what I'm gonna try is banging a hole in the top and bottom of this toolbox as well as the bed, and the stack will come up through the bed, probably here or so, up through the bed, up through the toolbox, and then I'm gonna leave it, for now I'm just gonna leave it an inch or two above the top of the toolbox, so it's gonna be pretty short. Then I'm gonna come back with more of your, like your hood stack, tile stack. I'll get a flange and a tip, and that'll kind of finish it off, but I don't have those parts here today. But yeah, let's get you set up down on the rear end. We'll get that thing draining and get started on the stack.
Hello. Decent little angle for you. Let's see what kind of shmoo is in here. This truck has about 180,000 miles on it. Got any guesses as to whether or not this fluid is going to be the original, or has it been changed? Find out next time on Idiots Out Wrenching Around. Just kidding. I'm going to bust all these loose and then take them out with the old electro-digital wrench. Did I say pry bar? I meant straight screwdriver. Oh. I just got home. Me and Tyler went and got some hay for his mom this morning. She's got horsies. Oh boy, look at that maple syrup. Look at that, folks. Where are we at? Schmoo. It's actually not too bad. I'd say she's, let's have her sniff. She's not too old. Getting awful chunky there, though, coming out. Oh, why? I'd say somebody's been in here before. We'll see. We'll see when we get in there what they might have been up to. Well, we're back. There she is. Doesn't really look too dirty. I'd say that fluid ain't too old. I don't see any signs of it being worked on, other than that is some RTV there that somebody's used to reseal it. And again, I don't know what they use from the factory, but pretty fresh-ish oil. Usually you get some kind of strange gravy out of it. Yeah, ring gear, Pinion's way in the back. You can kind of see him. You can kind of see him back up in there. Hello, Pinion. Hello, Pinion. There's your spider gears there. We're gonna get this boy cleaned up and then we will weld. Let's see if I can point it out to you. We did this, Tyler did this in a couple of his videos, but you're just gonna jam some weld up in this corner right here, up in this corner right here, up in this corner over here, just to bind those gears together. And then we can finally quit doing one tire fire burnouts. But everything's looking pretty healthy in here, so that's good. I'm just gonna go ahead and ruin it. So no big deal there. I'm gonna let this drain for a while and then I'll probably get it cleaned up with brake clean and we'll see if we get to it today or not welding it. Alright guys, we're up here on the bed. I brought this guy up just so I could get a feel for how far from the back of the toolbox my hole needs to be. We got our handy dandy old Zipperator 5000. She's a big boy. I opted to cut a 6-inch hole. I'll tell you what this is for later. 6-inch hole just so I have plenty of room on both sides so it doesn't rattle against the toolbox. And then also, I'm not real good with this kind of stuff, so chances are it's going to be all the way off to one side of the hole or whatnot. There is... Just making sure there ain't a ledge on the inside of here that I'm going to need to avoid. So it's going to be kind of strange in its placement. It's going to be out here. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see. Sorry about the weird angle. Probably about right there. Pretty well at all. Just carve a little line in the paint there for future reference. I don't know if this is how you guys would do it or not, but this is what I come up with. I'm going to stick this piece of trim. It'll fit. Down here and rest it on top of the exhaust pipe. Get in there. I literally chose you because you're skinny, so get it. There, we are on the exhaust pipe. Now I'm going to use my level. Pretty well centered. Pretty well centered on the exhaust pipe. I'm going to use my level just to make sure we're not getting way off kilter with where the exhaust pipe is. Holy cow, it's perfect. So the center of my hole needs to go in the center of this dealie, and even with my gouge, well, not the center. Center won't be even with the gouge. The outside of the drill bit will be even with the gouge. Looks good to me. Here we go. Yeah, check that out. There's the diamond plate on the outside and then a layer of insulation. And then the inner layer, which I thought was the back side of the diamond plate. I did not know or would ever have guessed that. We made ourselves a little rough diagram of where the second hole needs to go. So now we'll see if we can booger that one up. Look at that. Sweet. sweet, sweet victory. If anybody needs any small 6-inch circles, drop a comment and I'll mail them to you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say, there's been some recent developments. Hold on while I climb up here and try not to. Now, before I show you, it's not the prettiest, but we have a hole. There's actually a cross member that runs like right in here. That's why it's flat on one side. I didn't want to have to cut into that cross member, and I don't think I'm going to have to, but boy, that was a bear. I ended up taking the exhaust off. That allowed me to get some access from the bottom. I was able to cut through in some areas, but with the cross member there, the whole saw didn't fit real good. Finished her off with the old angle grinder 5000, but the 5-inch, if it weren't for that little corner there from the cross member, the 5-inch would fit. And so that means the 4-inch is going to fit just fine. As you can see, the 5-inch, our holes in the toolbox at least, line up perfectly. So, sneak peek-a-rooney. It'll look something like that for now. That'll allow the toolbox to still open and close. It's going to be loud as fuck! But for right now, I gotta go pick up Dash from daycare. And then you know what's gonna happen. We'll catch you at midnight 30. What is going on, idiots? I just realized I don't have a hat on, so don't mind that. But little update here. Look at that boy. It's pretty sweet. I've already started the truck once. Maybe I'll get you some clips here. But I'm pretty well in love at this point. Didn't go as well as I planned. Kind of turned out, hold on, climb up here. Turned out a little bit neff, son. It's almost perfectly centered. I'm just gonna go full disclosure here. It's ugly. It's ugly. Built a little bracket there. Threw some self-tappers into the pipe. Yeah, it's janky. I get it. Leave your hate in the comments if you need to. But you know what? It is secure. It's before I tightened anything up, I had it so it's resting on that clamp, so it can't go down. And then I got this bracket here to keep it centered, semi-centered. I probably got enough bending wiggle room to get it perfectly centered once the paint dries, but I shot it with some flat black enamel just for now. And like I said, I'm going to come back later with a flange to cover it up with a stack, like you'd see on a hood stack type setup. I'll get you some clips here in a little bit, but that's where we're at with that. It's all tightened down, buttoned up. Instead of a hood stack, we got the toolbox stack. And I don't know how hot it'll get. I'm gonna pull all this junk out of the toolbox and get some nice runs going there. I'll pull all this junk out of the toolbox and kind of gauge it over the next few times I drive it, how hot it gets in there. I could potentially build a heat shield around it or something like that, but all that's really in this toolbox anyway is a bunch of junk. And then just a couple tools that I know I need for this truck. 3/4 inch wrench for the injector lines. I got a line clamp thing in case I ever blow a fuel line. I can clamp him off. Screwdriver, a couple odds and ends, but we're gonna get back on this rear end. Got it cleaned up last night. You probably need to move that oil, and need to get the welder over here. Got the rear end jacked up so I can rotate it however I need to, but we're gonna booger some welds in there and try and make this into a two-wheel peel type of deal. And I'm not much of a welder, so it's probably not gonna look that great, but
get back with you here in a little bit. Well, guys, it ain't pretty. I'm not going to show you. We've got a couple other videos, and I'm sure there's countless others out there that show you how to weld one. I tried to put you on time lapse, and apparently my phone didn't like it. I don't know if Jason ended up putting that clip in or not, but as soon as I started welding, the phone froze up and crashed, and I don't know. But rear diff welded, toolbox stacked. We got the roll pan. We got no lift block, no blocks in the rear leaf spring. Pulled the leveling kit out, cut some coils down, new shocks, new sway bars. Makeover frickin' complete. So I'm gonna quit talking. You've had enough of that. Thanks for stopping by. We'll get some footage of this thing in now, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, guys.